guys? My name is Kayla Bundy. This is Little Pixie Rose, and you're listening to the Finding Hope podcast. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about the importance and significance of alone time and its benefits for personal growth, creativity, and mental well-being. For this week's segment, I'm going to be sharing one of my absolutely favorite desserts because I have such a sweet tooth, you guys, and I don't eat refined sugars. I'm pretty allergic to them, actually. It kind of like makes my throat swell up. Fun little fact. And these chocolates are life-changing. They're called Hue. That's the brand. They have like a million different flavors. I'll put something so you can see what they look like. But they are so good. They're refined, sugar-free, they're dairy-free. They have the cleanest ingredients. There we have like 4 or 5 ingredients in each bar. Like they're very, very good and healthy. And for me, they have been so wonderful because since I can't have refined sugars, and if you guys like to avoid a lot of processed things, then you gotta check them out and get on the train because they're so life-changing. Let's understand the concept of alone time. Some of us are introverted, some of us are extroverted. I am definitely on the extroverted spectrum. I thrive off of people, you guys. And as I've gotten older though, and not just older, but like as I feel like I've lived more life and made different relationships and friends and everything, I've learned that yes, I do get energy from people, but it has to be the right people. And I don't know about you, but some people, they drain me and other people bring me energy. And friends, when you have those relationships and those friendships with people that bring you so much energy, I feel like I'm on top of the world. And it's so funny. I'm like the biggest extrovert in my family. My parents, they're pretty extroverted, but my like siblings, not at all. And they're like always making fun of me because I'll call them and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen friends in 2 days. I'm losing my mind. I gotta get outside. I gotta see the world. I need human interaction. Like I've just been locked up working the whole time. And they're like, Kayla, calm down, you're fine. But for me, I thrive off of people and I work so well with people. Like that's something I'm so blessed. I have a few friends out here where like we'll just sit next to each other and work for hours. We don't have to talk, but I love being with people. It just brings me energy. It brings me life. I'm definitely an extrovert, to say the least. And so for extroverts, I do think that it can be more challenging to have alone time. But on the flip side, I think being introverted, yes, you like your alone time, but I think it can be challenging to truly utilize your alone time. Because just like an extrovert, yes, I utilize my friendships, but I'm not always pouring into that social dynamic in the ways that I should because it just feels so natural and it's easy and I love being around people. Versus being an introvert, sometimes you can isolate yourself in ways that you're not truly utilizing that alone time to its full benefits. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions and societal stigmas around being alone and either being single or not having friends or isolation and things like that. I feel like there's this negative connotation of spending alone time. I want to discuss the difference between loneliness and solitude because loneliness can occur being surrounded by people. And loneliness doesn't just mean you are on your own. There's a big difference between loneliness and solitude. And when you have solitude, it's very intentional. You're so present with yourself. You're very in the moment. It's rejuvenating, it's life-giving, it's fulfilling. Solitude is such a good thing. And loneliness, that's where I think a lot of us might be a little bit fearful in spending alone time because loneliness, it can feel more isolating and it can be scary to sit with yourself and just be present in your own thoughts and feel disconnected from the world or from relationships and friendships. And so the alone time I'm talking about today, it's not loneliness, because like I said, loneliness can happen whether you are fully alone or you can be in a room of 20 people that are your friends and still feel this loneliness. I'm going to be talking today about solitude and the importance of solitude and spending time with yourself in that way. Some benefits of alone time. It can rejuvenate you by balancing your emotions and letting your body physically relax. For me, it brings so much clarity and peace of mind. I find that whether I love being around people or I love being by myself in moments, I really have learned how to recharge on my own in my alone time as well. And it has been so important for me to remove distractions and noise and all of these things that can fill my world and just be by myself and present with myself. Because I can be alone, but my mind can be spiraling, and I can be alone and I can be worried about all these other things and what other people are doing or thinking or on and on and on. But being fully present with yourself on your own, it has taught me so much about who I am, and I have learned so much about myself that has progressed areas in my life that I didn't know needed to be progressed. And for me, a big thing that I like to do is every morning I go on a walk, and that's my alone time. And that's where I'm just waking up, so my head's foggy, and I'm not operating at as in high of an intensity because I'm just coming into the day, just stepping into it. And so for me, that's a really good time for me to not feel rushed and be very present with myself, because I know as the day gets going and I start doing things, that's when I try to take a second to be alone, I'm not very present and I just try to rush it and jump back into my day. And so it's been really helpful for me to start my days with that alone time and with that solitude and be able to debrief and process. And I've also found too that on my own, that doesn't always mean for me that my alone time is silence and it's just me and my thoughts and by myself. A lot of times when I have my alone time and I make intentional time to spend with myself, I'll listen to podcasts or I'll pray or I'll meditate or I'll do yoga. I'll do something like that, but I'm removing myself from environments surrounding other people, and I'm able to put myself in a place where what I'm going to do, I will be very present in. And the benefits of me stepping aside and giving myself space to open up my mind to the thoughts that I have that aren't coming from anybody else is so important. Solitude fosters self-reflection, self-awareness, and personal growth so well. The impact of alone time on creativity, problem solving, and decision making is huge, because when you're spending time alone, you're getting to know yourself. And so you're learning how to problem solve in a way that is proactive for you and how to be creative in a way that serves you and the way your mind works and develops things. And when it comes to decision making, I like to bring people into my decisions a lot when I'm confused and when I trust them and I know that they're very wise. But at the end of the day, after I bring people in, I need to be alone to have that gut feeling, to notice what's causing me anxiety, notice what's causing me peace, because when I'm not alone, I can distract myself from those things unintentionally, and I cannot notice those things as well as if I'm alone and I'm able to think about something and notice those physical reactions happening in my body in a way that helps me make important decisions. Solitude can also reduce stress, anxiety, and burnout. This is something that I really notice, and if I'm being honest, I'm really good about my alone time when I'm in California and I have my life. I know how I function. I know what things I need. I know when I need social time. I know when I need alone time. I can navigate things very easily. And I have that prioritize alone time for myself and prioritize that solitude. But this is something that you guys are gonna have to hold me accountable for, because I'm about to go home, and every time I'm home, I love my family, like absolutely love them. We're best friends. And my friends in Michigan, they are like siblings. Like I love them and I enjoy my time with them so much. And every day I can talk to my family from the moment I wake up until the moment I go to sleep. All we do, we just talk all day long. And it's great and it's amazing and I love it and I love spending time with everybody. But one thing that I notice every single time I'm home is when I don't take time to be alone and to have that solitude, I start getting irritable, I start getting anxious, and I start getting stressed out. And as much as I'm enjoying my time with everybody, I actually function way better when I'm able to take a step back. And it's very hard for me because I will always choose something social over being alone. That's just how I am. And I really had to be diligent and kind of like talk to myself before I go home every time and be like, Kayla, in the mornings, you gotta go on your walks by yourself, or you gotta do this by yourself. And it's so hard for me because when I wake up and my mom's there and I'm like, well, let's just walk together. And so like, we'll go on our walks. And then friends come or the day picks up and I'm really bad about stepping aside and even like doing my workouts, doing things that I know I'm gonna feel so good about after. It's just so hard for me to sacrifice being around people. So that is something that I need to take my own advice in this podcast, and I definitely need to hold myself accountable. You guys can hold me accountable because I need my alone time when I'm home. I don't want to get irritable. I don't want to get stressed over things that I never would get stressed out about. I need to actually be mature enough to do what I know I need to do to love everyone around me in the best ways possible. Going along with that, navigating relationships and alone time starts with setting boundaries. Discussing the importance of setting those boundaries and communicating one's needs for alone time in relationships will be so helpful for you. My sisters, they've taught me that a lot. And honestly, some of my best friends have taught me that, because a lot of my friends, my closest friends, they're pretty introverted for the most part. And I've learned so well how to communicate what I need because I see them do it in such a graceful way. And there's such a good mutual understanding. And a lot of my friends here and my sisters, sometimes they'll just be like, you know, I'm gonna need the day for myself. And when I respect that and I listen to that and I know that that's a boundary they need for themselves because they know themselves well enough, it improves our entire quality of life together. Because when they're able to do what recharges them and come back, it is so much more life-giving than if they weren't communicating those boundaries and if they were pushing themselves. Because alone time does not mean that I don't want to spend time with you. It doesn't mean that I don't want to hang out with you or I don't want to be there for you. But communicating those boundaries, it's actually communicating what is going to be the most beneficial for yourself and the people around you. And so learning how to communicate that and the importance of that is so huge and such a takeaway that I want you guys to hold on to as you're navigating how to spend time by yourself and how to communicate that in a graceful way to other people. cultivating alone time in a hyper-connected world. With social media and technology and all this noise and entertainment, communication at our fingertips, it definitely makes the ability to embrace solitude a lot harder. Some tips to give you guys to navigate this in a way that doesn't feel challenging, to turn off all that noise and to step aside from it. First, I want you to determine what you need. And that can change each and every day. For me, sometimes in my alone time, I need to listen to a podcast because I need some encouragement, or I want to learn in that moment, and I'll establish my needs. Other times I don't want to hear anything and I just want silence and I just want to be able to pray and talk to God, and I know I need that communication and I need that time with the Lord. So determine what you need. That is going to help decipher how you're going to achieve that. The next thing I want you to do is block the time out. And again, that can change based on the day. If you're really good with routines, then set a time every single day that you know this is going to be for yourself and you are pouring into yourself. If you're not as routine and your lifestyle, your job, whatever, it doesn't really allow for that, or you have a lot of flexibility in it, then listen to your body throughout the day. And when you need to take a step away, then know that, okay, every day I'm going to block out this amount of time, and depending on the day, that time frame might change, but I'm still going to be intentional with it. Next, eliminate distractions. I keep my phone on do not disturb or sleep mode when I'm having my alone time because I don't want to see any notifications, I don't want to hear any pings, I don't want to look down and see things that I'm going to want to give my attention to or feel the need to give my attention to. So whatever that is for you, eliminate those distractions. Whether that's can also be my family. When I'm home, I need to step away and I need to go on my walks because my family is it's a good distraction. It's not bad, but they will distract me. If I'm there and they are there, all I want to do is be with them. So eliminating that distraction and either going on a drive or going on a walk, that is going to pull me away to do what I originally decided was determining what I need. Remind yourself that being selfish would mean not taking care of yourself. This is a huge one because I think I've seen it with close friends. I'll do it myself sometimes. But when other people don't do what they need to do to take care of themselves and to foster themselves, and when I don't do what I know I need to do, it actually is very selfish of me because then I am showing up as a person that is not at my best. And no, you don't have to be on or your best 24/7, but I'm not showing up as the best version of myself for what I have to offer. And what I mean by that is you might have days where you're in a low mood and you don't have energy and you've got a lot going on, and that's fine. And your best that day is your best. And it might look entirely different than your best on a day where you're energized, you feel loved, you're super positive. But in both cases, you are bringing your best self for where you're at. And when you don't do the things that you know that you need to do, you're most likely not going to show up as your best self for you or the people around you or the environment or the work that you have. So taking the time is not selfish. That's actually the most selfless thing you can do. And give yourself permission to do that. And lastly, self-care and solitude, that doesn't have to take a lot of time. For me, I know I can get overwhelmed of being like, oh, like I don't have an hour to give myself today, or I don't have this, I don't have all these, like I don't have the time, I don't have whatever I know that I need to do. And I'll make it this big thing, and then I don't end up doing any of it because I'm like, I just don't have time to do what I want to do with it. And I just want to encourage you and say that solitude does not have to be something that is long. It honestly doesn't even have to be every day. It can be once a week, it can be 5 minutes a day, whatever is going to work for you and your lifestyle. Just start small. Take it in bite-sized pieces, because if you try to come at it as this big thing that you want to do every day for a long amount of time and on and on and on, that's great. But for me, that can get a little overwhelming and discouraging. And if I miss a day, then I'm frustrated. And instead of that, I've learned that, today I might have 2 minutes to give to myself. And that's great. And I took those 2 minutes and I was present in those 2 minutes. And tomorrow I might have 2 hours to give to myself. And that's great. And same thing, I'll be just as intentional. Don't put a limit on how long or short it has to be. Go ahead and weave throughout the day in the way that makes sense for you. It's better to do a little than nothing at all. My encouragement to you is to incorporate regular alone time into your life. And remember how transformative and powerful embracing solitude is, and how it can really benefit and elevate who you are and the person you are with the people around you and with the circumstances around you. So thank you guys for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, check this out on YouTube if you're not there, and go to the Instagram and give me some feedback, you guys. I'll be posting this week and asking what topics you want to hear, what things you're liking, all of that. So come over, come engage. And to leave you guys with some motivation, I love this quote. It's actually by Oprah, and it says, "Alone time is when I distance myself from the voices of the world so I can hear my own." I want you to carry that with you today. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.